All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be a recap for our live chat room, week ending on August 13th, 2021. And I've been getting a lot of questions because I mentioned something about the markets having 5 dimensions. I wrote an article back in 1988. It was a published article talking about the holographic markets. Back then, what I was doing with it is I had identified there's several different dimensions. And if you know how to identify those dimensions, you can do all kinds of things with it. What I was doing back then is I was predicting or projecting where the market was going to turn, when in the future a particular commodity or whatever the case may be was going to have a turning point. And I published that. I published the crude oil and where crude oil was going to turn within the next month. And sure enough, as predicted, that's exactly where it turned, and that does work even today. So it's a pretty solid approach, and what it's designed to do is really designed more for long-term traders, those that are looking for future turning points in the market. So people that like to take a long-term approach to their trading, like holding on to it for weeks and months. It's a nice way to go. I personally am a very short-term trader because that offers me a lot more opportunity. But I've identified 5 different what I call dimensions of the market. They're basically patterns, and when you layer these patterns on top of each other, you get a very clear indication of not only where the market wants to go, but also indication of size. In other words, the size of the move. Now, I do teach the first 4 dimensions in the core package. And then once you master that, then you are eligible to upgrade to the crystal ball. And that's where I teach you the 5th dimension with additional patterns. But the 5th dimension is good because it gives us the ability to project the magnitude of the move, which if you are trading binary options, you know you can trade deep out of the money. So you have very little risk and very, very big profit potentials. So deep out of the money is obviously very attractive for a lot of traders. Well, the 5th dimension will teach you and show you how to do that, how to trade with that 5th dimension so you can start taking those deep out of the money setups. But the core is going to teach you the first 4. You can do extremely well just trading the first 4 dimensions. I am not in the core package. We are not focused around projecting future turning points. So that's not something that I get into. So please don't ask me how to do that. But it is, this core package is based off of the basic concept that I am looking at dimensions and stacking those dimensions on top of each other. But a very good article. If you're on our mailing list, you get these weekly recaps. There is a link right here. You can just click on that and read the article, or you can go to our website, binaryprostrategies.com, click on the About Us, and there is a link to read the article there as well. All right, so let's take a look at our stats for the week, and let's see how we are doing. All right, so here we are for the week. These are going to be the weekly stats for the core package in the live chat room. This is going to be just PAP, and it is going to be what we call naked setup. So basically, the idea here is when you have a setup in core, obviously there are other things that we use to filter out these trades, but assuming that you're just looking at the actual setup itself and just trading off of that without any other filtration in terms of momentum or anything else that we look at, these are the kind of results that you're going to get. So you can see you're still in the 70s, 80 percentile on the setup. So the idea is that even if you are a new trader and you are just starting off, I can definitely help put the probabilities in your favor that you're going to have a winning trade. All right, that is the idea. Can you make a strategy out of the first trade of the day? You can. It's not something I do because I do like to trade, and I trade not only in the morning, but I also trade in the evening. But if you are a trader that has limited time, usually your best opportunity is going to be within the first hour or two, and most of my students are hitting their objectives very early in the morning. And then those that work during the day trade in the morning and they walk away, and they've already met their morning objective, which is something I highly recommend that you do as you become more and more familiar with these particular setups. Try to have a daily objective, come in, hit that daily objective, and walk away. All right. So as you know from last week, I was trading the US yen and the Euro US. You can see they were very good this week. I'm going to continue to do that as we move into this new week. So I'm going to continue to focus on the US yen and the Euro US. First trade of the day, I had a couple losses out of the 5 days, so that brings me down to 60%, but the evenings had one losing trade, so still average 70% on the first trade, which means that is the first setup for a naked setup. So that means I usually start at 8 a.m. in the morning, whatever the first setup is, the naked setup it is. That is what you're seeing here, whether it was a win or a loss. So it could be in the pound, which is my least favorite. It could be in the euro, could be in the Aussie. Whichever one pops up first, that is the one that we're tracking here. So even based on that, you can still see that we're still hitting the 70 percentile on the very first trade of the day. Why is that important? Because most people that are trying to set an objective are going to get in and out early in the morning. They don't have to sit and trade all day long, right? So once again, usually in the morning is the best time to trade. There are very specific times that we recommend that you really try to trade, times to stay away from that we teach in the core package. But early in the morning is a very good time. All right, so just kind of give you guys a little idea if you are trading binaries. All right. As far as CB is once again something that is only offered to those that have taken the core package. It's not something that somebody can just buy into. I do teach in core. You're going to learn about the first 4 dimensions. And then as we get into, as you master those first 4 dimensions, I'm going to teach you the most important, which I think is the most important. That's going to be the 5th dimension, which can gives you indication of the size of the move. And the reason that's important, particularly for what we do, is because now we can trade deep out of the money with these options, right? So we're not risking a whole lot of money, but our profit potential is, 8, 10 times what we're risking. So that's what we like, right? So that is only available with the CB, or the crystal, I call it crystal ball, which is CB. That's this crystal ball package. But once again, you cannot get into the crystal ball package without first purchasing and mastering the core strategy. And that's something that we will be looking at together. I will make sure that you have it mastered. And then if you have it mastered, you can be invited into joining or upgrading to the CB package. Now, want to let everybody know, starting in January, okay, the price of CB is going up another $400. I've talked about this over and over again. It will continue to go up and up until we outprice people that are just tire kickers. We're looking at very serious traders when it comes to CB. That's why I need to invite you into it once you master course. So if you're a guy that likes to buy systems and put them on the shelf, my packages are not going to be for you. All right. I'm teaching people how to trade and make a living out of this. I have a lot of students already going full time with it. Got a lot of testimonials to that fact. And I'm very serious about what I teach because this is unique to me. These are proprietary. These are not patterns that you're going to read about in any book. Nobody's talking about it on YouTube. If they are, there's an infringement against my proprietary patterns. I am the only one, and I came up with these patterns back early in the 1980s. All right, so these are very unique, and they do work. They continue to work, and if you want to understand how they work and how they're set up, you'll understand that they will continue to work just as well today as they will in the future. So That being said, CB, decent week for me. Didn't honestly do a whole lot of trading. Wasn't too aggressive this week, but still had a very good week with CB. I am anticipating that as we start moving into the end of August, September, I usually see a pretty good spike in trading activity, and I see a lot of volatility, and I see a lot of really good opportunities. So we're starting to move kind of in those winter months, so we start seeing a lot more traders come in the market, and that does nothing but help us as traders because it increases volatility, and it also tightens the spread when we're trading these binaries. So it's all good. So I'm looking for some really nice opportunities coming up. But overall, not a bad week. Stats were there strong, so that's what we would expect. And as always, if you do have any questions, you can always go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com. Shoot me your questions if you're interested in getting involved in the core package. That is also on the website. You can go there and you can see everything that's included. Once again, you cannot upgrade to CB unless you first package core, and you and I will determine whether you have it mastered. So you're not going to be able to just buy the core and 2 months down the road come in and say, I want to be a CB trader. It doesn't work that way. I want to make sure that you're being successful before I allow you to go into the crystal ball. But the price of CB is going up. So those that are very serious about trading, it's a good time to get into the core package. So that gives you several months to master it before you decide if you want to upgrade to CB. You can still upgrade before the price goes up. All right. Like I said, I'm going to raise it about another $400 starting in January next year. And it will eventually be priced out so nobody can get into it. It'll be so expensive because that's the way I'm going to keep a kind of a lid on having too many traders out there using this particular method. So that is it. Looking forward to a really good week this week. Once again, any questions, go to my website, shoot me an email, and I hope everybody have a great trading week, and we will see you next weekend with our next weekly update.